Okay, let's talk photo transfer and collage today. So in this image right here, we have both examples. The figure in the middle is white. And is that photo transfer or collage? Collage. The wings are photo transfer. Now, as you can tell, the wings are transparent, except for where the black is. So everywhere that it was on your paper, so looked white, did not transfer onto the board. So that where it was white, it is actually transparent. There is nothing covering the board where the white is. You only transfer the black ink. Here, the white is opaque. You cannot see behind it. That's the case with collage, because you're actually just cutting out the image from the paper and gluing it down face up. That's collage. All these elements in here are collage. All right. So what kind of images work best as a transfer? Well, okay, so this here is also a transfer, and this here. You cannot see behind him, but that's only because I put these two images together on my Photoshop, and then printed them together. So I only transferred one image in the end. Little confusing, right? It can get multi-layered and a little complicated until you start practicing yourself. So a lot of times in my cityscape work, I use collage. I don't use transfer actually too much. I like the solid image in color. So I'll include photos that I took on site when going to sketch a place. And I usually hide people's faces, those kind of things. So it's not you're not exactly sure who it is. But yeah, this is collage. And with ink, it works really nice because it becomes somewhat transparent once you put the top coat on, whether it's a resin or something else. You can add paint on top of it. You can partially hide it. So this is me using collage in my cityscape work. So what kind of image is going to work well? All right. So here's some old photos that I got from a person, and I was transferring these into paintings. And so here, this is my grandmother. Okay, so what I do when I get old photos is I try to punch up the contrast as much as possible in Photoshop. It doesn't have to be Photoshop. But see, because what is white will be clear once you transfer the image. So when you have a lot of grayscale, like this little boy here, you see there's no white in this photo. So nothing will be totally transparent like the white. So you're going to see all the grayscale. All the grayscale is going to be transferred. Wherever ink was deposited on your page, that is what's going to transfer to your board. So yeah, I scan in my photos and I punch up the contrast as much as possible. Sometimes you can even make, a stamp so that you only have black and white outline and absolutely no grayscale. But that's hard to do with these old photos. You're going to lose a lot of detail. So yeah, that's just something to think about when you're using old photos or any kind of photos in your transfers. So if you go and take a photo, so this is an example of how I made it's called a stamp in Photoshop. So I almost completely eliminated any grayscale. It's made a total black and white image, so only the black is transferred. And then only the black is transferred and the white is totally clear. So this is an image that's going to transfer really nicely. I made a nice big photocopy. So all of these are photocopies. This is a print from my laser jet. So photocopy has a lot more detail in the imagery because the quality of the machine. I have a cheap laser printer at home and I do use those. Like there's just a little fewer dots per inch, but that's all right. It works because really I do so much more to the image once I have it in my painting. I don't rely on it 100% to stand on its own. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what kind of images work well with transfer versus collage. And in a second part, I will demonstrate how these images are transferred.